Welcome. Welcome to this new format for the Coaches Next Door. What my main idea is really to bring you reality. So I really want to get to the point that we are talking about, what is happening with all of us in a real format, and also that becomes more about us. And in that sense, I would like to receive all your questions, all your, stories as well, because I think that we all gain with more number of perspectives, of course. So I will also do my best to bring at least one time per month someone else to make an interview, to talk about a topic, so that we can also increase the number of perspectives. And if you already follow some of my work and the way that I do this is I'm really looking for always new perspectives. And doesn't mean that I'm going to accept all of them immediately, at least. But means that, okay, when I get a new perspective, I get also triggered and I start thinking about that possibility. So I think the number of choices that we have amplifies by the number of perspectives that we can get, okay? And the work that I want to provide is about that. It's not about eliminating, it's about having more choices and amplifying perspectives and amplifying possibilities, so that we can take, informed decisions, that we can decide, because we have a bunch of possibilities and an infinite number of perspectives. So today I want to talk about something that yesterday I put a post or a story, and I got a lot of comments, and it's interesting because people tend to send me messages, and so they want, I think that is the urgency of us getting a little bit more in touch with the person and ask directly than putting a comment or whatever. I get a lot of private and a lot of messages. So I got a lot of messages about this, and I think is a good moment to reflect. And it's why relationships end. And the summer or this time of the year is a lot of times the moment that people start taking decisions. And they take the decision, and sometimes it's going away from a romantic relationship. Sometimes it's even changing jobs, so it's changing the work relationship. But it's about letting go of the relationships. And one interesting thing is that most part of the times, what I see is that people take a decision, and then they will say, okay, I'm going, on holidays, and I'm going to confirm or not confirm my decision. And this is very interesting, because most part of us will react to when someone, for instance, comes and say, I'm leaving, I'm going. And it can be a romantic partner, can be a friend, can be a worker, can be ourselves saying, okay, I'm going. And that moment is when the other person also starts reacting, right? Starts, but why? And can we do something? And can we, go to therapy? Can I raise your salary? Can I give you something? But most part of the times the decision is done. So every everything that comes after that, you know, is, to be very frontal, I have serious doubts if will work out in the long term. And sometimes people say, no, we talked about it, we went to therapy and worked. And I go like, okay, let's analyze. And what I see is that is almost a kind of a ghost there in the relationship, and it's very hard to take that away. And we have a lot of, therapists and a lot of ideas about this. For instance, one of them is coming from the family constellation, saying if you feel a certain type of pain, you need to promote the same type of pain on the other person, and that is where you get equal. So the relationship after a news like this gets out of equilibrium. Okay, it's one person that has more power than the other person, and the dynamic, from what I see, from my experience also as a couples coach and also a team coach, is that is always this dynamic of power. Seems like one person has the decision, has the power, and the other person is trying to solve something. And when a relationship enters this type of dynamic, it's very difficult to change. It's always someone that stays with a little bit more power inside of the relationship, because was the one that, took the decision and expressed the decision, and the other one is trying to solve whatever is going on. And the thing is, of course, the question is, how can we, if that situation comes, what can we do, really, what can we do if we want to keep the relationship, and if we want to give the relationship, a new dynamic? I will say that is really starting a new relationship. And it's not about taking time or separating or for a while. I don't also think that that is necessary. Sometimes useful, but I don't think it's necessary. But I think what is necessary is to really make a stop in the relationship that was before and really go in depth on why this relationship is now ending, okay? And taking clear decisions together about the new dynamic and what we are looking for. The thing is that relationships, they end for three, like I said yesterday, three very simple but complex things, okay? So they end by having secrets. So secrets are installed in the relationship. And when I say secrets, I'm not only talking about big secrets, the secrets that can really damage a relationship instantaneously almost. I'm talking about small secrets, I think this about you and I don't say it. I didn't like what you said, I never say it. I feel in a certain way when I'm with you and I don't say it out loud. Or even secrets like, something happened in my day and I prefer not to tell you because I don't know how you're going to react. So this type of things, of course, and then we have the biggest secrets, okay? And then another motive is negative anchoring, and this happens a lot. Of course, I see a lot of this combination, okay? So secrets and then the negative anchoring, because if I'm keeping a secret, means that I don't trust your reaction. I don't trust what is going to happen if I tell, the secret. That means that I have a negative anchoring. That means that in some moment, something happened, that I said it, I talked, and I had, something coming back to me. Or I felt unseen, unheard, or even that was used against me in another situation, for instance. So this combination is very close between I keep a secret and the negative anchoring. What is negative anchoring? Negative anchoring is when that person is saying something, or even sometimes present, or in a certain situation, I'm triggered from something from the past. So I always explain this as I look to that person and I only see what is not working. Okay, what I don't like, when the person was not there, when the person made me feel bad, things like that. So that person triggers a lot on the negative emotions from my side, okay? In the terms I don't feel good when certain things happen. This is negative anchoring. And then the third thing is different visions for the future. And this sometimes is tricky because people are not explicit about the future. So it's the same thing that, oh, I want kids, but how many kids you want? And what that means for you, and how do you want to raise those kids, and what type of parent you would like to be. So that type of things. And I think the vision of the future, sometimes people get too abstract, like, oh, I just want to be happy. That's not enough, because my perspective of happiness can be very different from the other person, okay? I want certain things and the other person doesn't like it. For instance, I don't know, for me, happiness could be like traveling a lot, and the other person doesn't really connect with traveling. In a long term, that is going to come back. And also, the idea that when we are not explicit about the future, we sometimes also retain, again, some secret, okay? So like, I would really like a house like this and like that, but no, for now, let's not talk about it because, it's not possible or whatever. So let's keep this secret and let's see what happens. I see this a lot, okay? And also the things that people desire for themselves, but also for, the couple. What type of couple I want to be in the future? What type of things I want to be doing together in the future? These are conversations that are very important to have, and if you never had these conversations before, when you get to a point that you feel like, oh, this relationship, whatever the relationship is, work, romantic, friendship, if you want to end this relationship, I think you deserve to get this notion why this is happening, and did we work on our relationship as, let's say, we worked on our relationship to get the relationship we wanted, you know what I mean? So did we talk about the things that could really take our relationship to a place that we wanted? So it's very relevant to stop. And if one of the parts of the relationship, one person decides, okay, I want to finish this relationship, if the other part wants to, still work on it and get the relationship back, and I put in between commas because I don't think it's possible to get the relationship back, at least not the one that didn't work, right? So you don't want to bring that back. You want to build a new relationship. And if you want to build this relationship again, you need to really know, okay, What are the secrets that I was holding? What are the negative anchors that I need to let go and to work upon it? And what is really precisely our vision for the future? What is mine? What is yours? And what is our vision for the future together? And build a new relationship, not the one, don't restore the one that you had before, because we'll be, or sooner or later, will come back again like an end, or even worse, you are maintaining something for the wrong motive, okay? You are keeping something because, I don't know, sometimes the kids, sometimes the salary that is very important for you. It's for everyone, right? But some people have more possibility of choice, others not so many. But you keep going in the relationship for the wrong motives. And it's a high, very high price to pay for that. And I really want you to realize that. It's a very high price to pay for being in relationships that don't bring the best of us, okay? Because then the relationships that we have, they really shape our perspective about the world. So if we don't encounter ourselves in relationships that really bring the best of us and really makes us feel, you know, they support us, the relationships, they really hold us, is a risk, is a really high risk that we start seeing the world in a very distorted way, in a very sometimes even negative way. So the way we relate with one person is going to influence the way that we deal with and we look upon the world. And I think sometimes we don't realize this. We don't realize until sometimes we are out of the relationship after already, you know, a long time, sometimes too much. And we go back and we're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that this was being so damaged for my self-esteem, for my self-confidence, for my happiness, you know, for the possibility of me feeling happy more times along the way. So the price is super, super high. And I'm going to really stretch this thought, okay, because I think we really don't realize until most part of the times we are out and we see, oh, now I see why I felt so stuck, why even my career was not, you know, going anywhere, why my business was, you know, feeling like really a weight instead of burning, instead of feeling, you know, prosperity and growth and progress. No. So don't wait until that moment, because it's never, let's say, too late, but the damage can be big. And sometimes, yeah, we take too long to at least to say, okay, I want to work on the dynamic of this relationship. So look for that dynamic and be very explicit about the dynamic that the relationship is bringing right now, and you both are creating, and change that dynamic together, okay? Decide what is the dynamic that you want to create together, and do that. And of course, in the beginning, it's going to be uncomfortable. And in the beginning, I think the question is, okay, but what this means for the relationship, we don't know yet. So we don't know even if this is going to work, but we know that whatever was there before was not what we wanted, right? So if that is the case, I think the relationship deserves the chance to see all the possibilities, right? So that you take really that decision. and you really go for, okay, what can we do in a different way today? What are the little things that we can do? What is the commitment that we take together for this dynamic to change? And again, you will never know where the relationship will end in the future. You never will know what the relationship will become. But the thing, I think that is not the most relevant part, right? The most relevant part is realizing that whatever you have now is not giving the fulfillment that a relationship is made for, is not bringing you to the place that you are aiming for a relationship. Work, again, romantic, friendship even. Friendship is a thing that sometimes we let for last, right? But it's really important as well, really important. So I hope this serves you, and then you go on these holidays also with this perspective. Go on your holidays and ask yourself, what is the dynamics that you want to create during your holidays? What things are important? And agree upon some things with your family, with your partner, with your big family. Like sometimes in the holidays, the family gets a little bit bigger. So talk about it. What are you aiming for? For instance, one of the things that I can give you a personal example, my family in Portugal is a lot about food. It's a lot about food, and personally, we are not. So for us, and if we even have a little bit more the sensation of relaxation when lunch is about, putting a table with a lot of stuff, and each person's do whatever they feel like. And then we talk about it, like, hey, can we do this at lunch, and on a dinner we do a little bit more Portuguese style, and normally it works super well because they get a new experience. Okay, we feel more at ease, that we don't always need to think about food. It's not really our thing, so it takes a lot of space from us in our heads and worries, and and we talk about it and we agree upon that. And sometimes we also say, you know what, let's have a Portuguese lunch, why not? But it's important to talk about it, and instead of tolerating or on the opposite of thinking about it and not saying anything because you don't want to disturb anything, but then you are the one that is going to get disturbed. So I think a relationship should be based on trust, right? So if you are in the right relationship, means that you can say it and you can talk about things, and you can get to a point that you agree or you commit with certain things. So I hope your holidays are coming soon and you enjoy it, and we see each other along the way, and I will bring more topics that I think could be relevant. If you have any topic that you would like to hear my perspective, please let me know. I will love that. Take care of yourself, and we see each other next week. Take care.